Hey, everybody. Welcome back to another hot episode of a very special podcast. This is the podcast in which we talk about all of your favorite TV series from yesteryear and then discuss it over a tall glass of punky power. I'm your boy, Patrick M. Dunn, and I'm joined here by, I don't know, that crazy wanderer who just kind of wanders around. Kat Halstead, the author. Welcome back, girl.
Wanders around? What does that mean?
I'm just thinking of the intro music to Punky Brewster, which is our topic for today. She's just kind of like wandering around the city until she finally meets Henry. After walking around for days, I think. I don't know.
God, the more I think about it, the more disturbing this show is.
Like, the first episode is really the first 4 episodes, because I feel like it was like a pilot movie.
Yeah, I noticed that on Peacock. I was like, why is it so 4 parts? What the hell? What is this? What is happening?
It's probably for the syndication run. They probably chopped it up a bit, but it's we know her mom left her at a Wegmans parking lot or something.
It was in the department store while they were shopping for clothes, and the mother was watching from afar.
Yeah, and does this take place in Chicago, I think, right? Yeah.
Yes, it takes place in Chicago. For some reason, I always thought New York.
Yeah, I did too. It was kind of a shock to me that it was Chicago.
I watched the Punky reboot. I thought it was New York. There was nothing that I recall indicating Chicago.
I mean, I'm going to throw this out there. It's been 2 years since the Punky reboot dropped and came and conquered.
Yeah.
And I don't really remember a lot of the specific details, but I was pretty sure it was New York there too.
Yeah, I mean, I just remember in the reboot, Freddie Prinze Jr. was her ex-husband, and I didn't understand why they were exes.
I feel like they got into it, but maybe I forgot. It's out of my head.
It was one of those things where you could tell the storyline, if it had gotten a second season, was going to bring them back together.
Oh yeah, they were kind of inching towards it. Didn't he spend the night in one episode?
Yeah, something like that. And he was getting close to the new foster kid.
Oh yeah, he had a new girlfriend, but it wasn't really working out, I think. I sort of remember that.
Yeah.
It got canceled, and literally the only thing I remember from that show is that her mom came back in the last episode.
Yeah, and I want to say it was Sharon Lawrence playing her.
It was. I was gonna say it was either Sharon Lawrence or Téa Leoni, and if you said Sharon Lawrence.
Yeah, it wasn't Téa Leoni.
Okay, I knew it was someone who once had a NBC sitcom on the late 90s. So I knew it was somebody like that. I don't get punky mom vibes from her though. It didn't really click with me.
Yeah, I was kind of confused by that casting myself.
I get more punky aunt vibes from her, to be honest with you. I could see her being the aunt.
I mean, yeah, I don't know. That's my go-to answer tonight is going to be, I just don't know.
And we picked a really weird episode of Punky Brewster. We probably should have done the Trapped in the Refrigerator episode, or I don't know, the one where the Challenger explodes and they're at school and Punky sees it on TV. But no, we picked the weirdest episode we could ever find.
Okay, I have to ask you something. Did you see that on TV in school?
I think I was too young. I think I was way too young.
See, I think we missed it by a year or something.
Because that was 86, I believe. Because the episode that we did today was from 1985, and this is a first season episode.
Because that's one of those things where people are oh, well, you saw this. And I'm no, actually, I don't think I did. At least not in a school setting.
I don't know what time space shuttles launch, because I feel they don't show it on TV anymore. It used to be a thing you would watch a space shuttle launch on TV. That was a thing.
I mean, okay, so I have a lot of friends in Florida. And one of my friends, Lisa, she's always on it when there's a launch, because that is kind of still a big tourist draw.
Oh yeah. I mean, I was just there a week ago.
When she mentions it, I'm kind of oh yeah, pretend kind of a little bit that I know what she's talking about. I'm I don't know what.
True story. I feel we've talked about this before and in a previous episode or episodes or this theme, but when I was real young, first, second grade-ish era, I had a friend whose dad was super into space, and he had his own space camp company, and he would go around to schools in the summer and school vacations and set up this little mini space camp.
Okay.
It was just he'd bring in a wooden plywood. They were painted like a spaceship, and inside there was computer dials and stuff. And I just remember thinking it was like super high tech, but now that I'm like looking back at it, I'm like, we literally just like rented a U-Haul.
You're like, what was this cheap ass thing we all fell for?
Yeah, he like literally just rented a U-Haul. He had like a storage garage, like a storage unit. He like stored all the stuff in there, rented a U-Haul, like dragged this shit around like southeastern Massachusetts. And then he would drag his son and me, like I would always end up going to like watch them like put all this shit together. And like they had I wouldn't even say like computer screens. It was more like TVs that just like played like a video of like it's just supposed to be like looking at like space controls and stuff. And it was lame, but it was exciting to me at the time. But there's a part 2 to the story. So part 2 is in the town I lived in. This is completely unrelated, by the way. The town I lived in, there was a guy. He graduated in like the early 70s. He actually like was an astronaut.
Oh, really?
And he like came to our yeah, Brian Duffy. Look him up. He came to our school and like talked to us, and then he went to space like maybe like twice. I don't know. We had to watch the launch though, and it was like exciting. We got to see it. They like rolled in the AV club cart, and we all got to watch Brian Duffy get like carted away into space. And then when he got back, he came. Like, there was a parade and everything, and he flew planes too. And we had a teacher that was really into space, and he like flew her around like in his I don't know, like 2-engine plane, like that's like a small engine plane, and like they got to like fly over the school we were at. I think it was the middle school. Yeah, it was definitely middle school time. It was like 6th grade, and I don't know, like they like came down close, so we got to like all wave to her and stuff. And she like took a picture, and then we had to wait like 4 days for it to get developed. And we got to see us all like standing outside from above, from a bird's eye view. Time of my life. Not really, but it was exciting. So there's a part 3 to the story too, by the way.
Oh my god, Patrick, what is the point of this story?
You know what? This is the kicker to it. This is the kicker. So this is probably like 5 years ago. So like everyone in town knew who Brian Duffy was because they like named a street after him, Brian Duffy Way. That was like where the schools were.
He was aboard 4 space shuttle missions, by the way. Just so you know.
He was good at basketball too. He was like on the basketball team. I remember that. There was like a picture of him, like a giant picture in a high school of him like holding a trophy.
Okay.
So anyway, it's like a couple years ago, my grandparents, they moved to this like retirement community, and we were just like, my sister and I, we were just sitting at the cafeteria. We were just like just chilling one day with my grandparents, and like my grandma was like, guys, guess what? And we're like, what? She's like, that couple over there, that's Brian Duffy's parents. And we were like, oh, Brian Duffy's parents. It was like meeting like a celebrity. I don't know. And that's my space story. What did this have to do with Punky Brewster? I don't even know.
Okay. I have no. That is Patrick's mind of madness. This is what I deal with, guys.
Yeah. Oh, we got onto because we're talking about the Challenger and like.
Okay. Yes, you don't have to explain it. They heard it. They were with me as you went on this wild excursion into your mind and memories.
I was trying to remember how we got onto that track, because I was all ready to talk about like an episode about Punky Brewster going to space, but no, not today.
It probably would have been better than what we saw.
All right. So I think you should tell us, or tell our adoring fans, all like 14 of you, which episode of Punky Brewster we went with, because you're going to be wildly disappointed.
Okay, hold on. I can't remember the title.
Oh, I got it in front of me.
Or the episode number.
It's My Aged Valentine, or My Aged Valentine.
It's from the first season. I had to have let Patrick pick this.
No, you picked it.
No, I didn't.
We always try to come back out of Halloween with a dream sequence, and you're like, oh, Punky Brewster did a dream sequence episode, and you like said this one, and I was like, okay.
Oh, okay. I must have just Googled episodes with dream sequences.
Yeah, we probably like went through a list one night, and you found it, and I just was like, all right.
Yeah, we're like, oh, let's do Punky. We can find it on Peacock.
Yeah, we got excited.
Dude, I basically live on Peacock now.
What else is on there? What the fuck are you watching on there?
Hallmark movies.
They're on Peacock?
Yes, they got Peacock made a deal with Hallmark to air their Hallmark movies.
Damn.
And I gotta get my Law and Order fixed somehow, Patrick. Come on.
I mean, I knew Law and Order, but I was like, what else? What else is on there? Because like,
that's kind of it. Like, what do I watch really though these days?
Because I fire up Peacock and I scroll through it for like 5 minutes and then I just close it out because I'm like, nope, I want to watch none of that.
Oh.
I'm like, do they even have any Hut originals? I can't even think of one besides Punky Brewster that was canceled.
So they had the 3rd season of AP Bio, which was really good. But if you haven't seen it, it's really good.
I've seen Epps. I enjoy it. It's good for what it is.
I enjoyed the first season of East Rutherford Falls.
I don't even know what that is.
Is
it about Kelly Rutherford?
No.
I wish it was.
It's like this white guy whose family like founded the town of Rutherford Falls, and it's like his best friend's like this Native American woman, and she's trying to get like a cultural center built on the res, but they're like, casino!
Is it a drama?
No, it's a comedy.
Like, is it made by anyone we know?
You would like it. You would love it. You gotta go find it. It's really quick. There's 2 seasons. The second season's not as good.
What's it at? Like, was it like big? Because like I've never heard of it.
No, it wasn't big. It wasn't like, I kind of like just stumbled on it on Peacock, and I was like, oh, what's this?
Okay.
Then I watched it like all in a day.
I think the only thing I can think of that Peacock had, and it might not even be Peacock, did they have the Dr. Death show or whatever it was on there?
Yes.
All right. I did watch that. Okay.
Which, oh my god, I still, like, even though, like, he's sort of a murderer, like, Alec, allegedly, maybe sort of, I don't know, Alec Baldwin and Christian Slater, I need more with those two together.
I mean, I don't think we're gonna woo Alec Baldwin out of retirement for a while.
Yeah, he's...
Just saying.
East Rutherford Falls starred Ed Helms.
Okay. He's from The Office, right? He's the guy that I don't like from The Office.
The Office and The Hangover.
Oh, yeah. Not a fan. Who's the guy on Saturday Night Live that I also don't like, that I always confuse the two? The one that is on, he has a TV show on, too, that I've never seen. It's on Apple. Ted Lasso.
Oh, yeah, what's his name? I know exactly who you're talking about. Oh, Jason Sudeikis.
Yeah, they might as well be the same person. Like, to me, they're exact. They look the same. They sound the same. Like, if I've ever seen them at a party, I would just leave.
I'm actually, like, kind of shook by Ed Helms' filmography. Like, I did not realize he was this busy.
I think he just takes whatever he can get, because...
Probably, because, like, it's all over the place. Oh, he was in that movie Tag that had, Jeremy Renner and, the dude you like, the big penis guy.
What?
From Mad Men.
Oh, Don Draper, John Hamm?
Yes, him. And Jake Johnson.
I was like... Wait, what is this called? I mean, I was like, I thought I knew what you're talking about, but I guess I don't.
Tag, yes. It's a movie about, like, a group of friends who, like, as adults get together every year to play tag. It kind of, like, gets really ridiculous the older they get, and then, like, Jeremy Renner's character is, like, the one who's, like, all in it, but he's never been, like, tagged. For
some reason, I was thinking that movie that had, I think it's Emma Roberts and, like, someone's chasing her, like, through the whole movie. For some reason, I thought you were talking about that.
Yeah,
And I don't even know what it's called. And I might have just made that up.
You're, like, dream casting Emma Roberts in roles that will never exist.
I'm pretty sure there's a movie with Emma Roberts and she's, like, being chased, and it's, like, a thriller. So, like, I feel like Tag is in the title for some reason. I don't know. Who cares?
Oh, Ed Helms was he was the new Rusty Griswold.
Rusty? No, he was the dad, I think, right? He was like Chevy Chase.
Yeah, no, that was Rusty in the new one.
Oh, that's right. It's not a remake. It's like a continuation. I don't know.
Yeah, it's a continuation.
I didn't see it, so I don't know. Who knows?
Oh, I totally saw that.
I had zero interest in that. All right. Anyway, who cares about Ed Helms' filmography?
Sorry, we are really distracted there. Wow.
If you're dying to know what other roles Ed Helms has taken, you can just visit his IMDb page, or you can go, I don't know, I'm sure he has a podcast. You can listen to it. I'm pretty sure he has one. But instead, before we talk about this wishy-washy episode of Punky Brewster, do you want to just kind of know what was going on this night? Because this is a crazy night.
Okay, so it's 1985, so we're like...
4-ish? Not
even. We're like 3.
It's February 10th, 1985.
Yeah, so we're 4. No, we're 3.
We're going to get some cat math.
Because we haven't had our birthdays yet.
So you know what? If the Challenger blew up a year later-ish, there's no way we'd remember that.
Okay.
All right, so February 10th, 1985. It was a Sunday night, and we only have 3 networks. We have 3 networks. The wildest lineup of television ever. It's not really that wild, but...
I was getting, like, kind of geared up. I was like, oh, give me something really crazy. Give me some crazy lineup.
Sorta. There's some stars out tonight. There's a lot of stars.
Okay.
All right, so we're going to kick off. You want to start with our boys at the Alphabet ABC, see what they're up to?
Okay.
On a chilly Sunday night in February of 1985. Things kick off at 7 o'clock with Ripley's Believe It or Not. This is, I think these are the Jack Palance years. I think he was the host then, right?
Well, it wasn't Dean Cain, that's for sure.
Yeah. Dean Cain was like a teenager right now. He's probably like partying in Hawaii or wherever. Was he from Hawaii?
Yeah, he's getting ready to go to Princeton and meet Brooke Shields.
That's right. And then he's going to do like a 4-episode stint on 90210 in like 5 years. Are you ready for the 8 o'clock slot? Because this is wild. This is fucking wild.
Okay, give it to me.
It's a made-for-TV movie.
Okay, we love those.
I'm just going to give you the cast, just who's in this, and then you just tell me what you think it's going to be about, okay? How about that? We're going to play that game tonight.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, let's see.
Paul Sorvino, Molly Ringwald, Zach Galligan from the Gremlins movie, and Ellen Burstyn. Are we going to get a fun, like, happy-go-lucky movie? Are we going to get a serious drama? What do you think we're going to get tonight?
I feel like we're going to get a movie about a teen pregnancy.
We're very close. We're very close. A little bit more morbid, though. But we're definitely getting some teen issues tonight.
Oh.
Some social issues. All right, you ready for the description?
Okay.
Oh, I haven't even said the name of the show yet. Tonight's thing's called... I lost the name of it. It's called Survivin', A Family in Crisis.
Oh, God.
And you ready for the description? You ready for the plot synopsis?
Yeah, give it to me.
When a teenage boy and girl commit suicide, their families must deal with the loss, and eventually, the two sets of parents turn to one another for comfort.
Wow. That took a turn I was not expecting.
It did well tonight. It got an 18.1 in the ratings, but it's not the most watched thing tonight. Not even close. All right. So that was on ABC all night.
River Phoenix was in this too, dude.
I didn't see his name in the cast list that I had, but...
Well, I'm looking at the page on Wikipedia, and he was in it.
Oh, okay. I looked at the TV Tango description, so...
And Heather O'Rourke was in it as well.
Over at CBS, over the Tiffany Network, we kick things off with our boys at 60 Minutes. Tick, tick, tick. We get at 8 o'clock, part 1 of 2. It's another TV movie, another made-for-TV movie. Again, I'm going to give you the cast, and you tell me if you think this is going to be like a happy film or like a morbid tale.
Okay.
Morgan Freeman, Martin Sheen, James Earl Jones, and Rip Torn.
I'm sorry. There is a movie that exists with Morgan Freeman, Martin Sheen, James Earl Jones, and Rip Torn?
Yes, and it aired tonight on a chilly February night. It's probably fucking cold.
And it's a 2-part thing?
Yeah, this is part 1 of 2. So you know you're in for a treat.
Okay, this is not a happy thing.
No, it's called The Atlanta Child Murders.
Oh, wait.
And this is based on a true story. It's a very popular trial. It's a fact-based story based on the investigation and trial of Wayne Williams, the accused killer of 13 black children in Atlanta, Georgia.
Oh, it's Martin Sheen. Like, my head said Martin. You said Martin Sheen, and my brain pictured Martin Short.
Oh my god.
So I was...
That would have been even better. I would have watched that movie for sure.
That's why I was like, hold up. Hold up.
I feel like you're finding it right now on YouTube for some reason. I feel like you're pulling it up.
I found the Wikipedia page.
Anyone? Did I leave any names out?
This is actually one I do want to watch. I do want to watch this one. What they did with it.
Add it to the list. All right. And then following the Atlanta Child Murders, part 1 of 2, airing at a later time tonight is our favorite gal pal, R.I.P. Angela Lansbury, Murder, She Wrote.
Aw, Jessica Fletcher.
And hold on. I'm going to give you the title of the episode, and then we're going to talk about the plot synopsis, because this sounds fucking crazy. Tonight's episode is My Johnny Lies Over the Ocean. And are you ready for the plot synopsis of this episode?
Give it to me.
All right, this is a Jessica Fletcher Leaves Cabot Cove episode. She goes out of town tonight.
I was kind of hoping so.
She goes on a cruise with her friend Pamela, who has just been released from a sanitarium where she was recovering from the suicide of her husband, Johnny. However, while on board, Pamela is the victim of a terror campaign, and then another passenger is found dead.
It screams very much Death on the Nile.
Maybe whoever wrote this episode read that famous Agatha Christie novel and was like, you know what, we need to do like a, you know what, we're not going to send Angela Lansbury to the Egypt or wherever the Nile is. Let's send her on like a nice little carnival cruise instead and have her solve the mystery in like 45 minutes. If Jessica Fletcher had your phone number, she called you up and was like, girl, you want to go on a cruise? You're going to be like, no.
Be like, I know exactly who you should take, though.
Leave the names of who you think it is in the comments below. All right. Are you ready for like a lit night at NBC? NBC is going all out tonight. I don't know like where they were in the 80s, but tonight was a night. Like tonight is a night for NBC.
Okay, what's happening?
Things kick off at 7 o'clock with Silver Spoons.
Okay.
Starring our boy Jason Bateman's in episodes, Alfonso Ribeiro's like also on the show, and to a lesser extent Ricky Schroeder.
It was his show.
I know, but we don't talk about him anymore. We don't. He went off the deep end, so to say. At 7:30, we get a girl Punky. 8 o'clock, we get an action-packed hour with David Hasselhoff. Any guesses?
It's 1985, so I'm gonna say Knight Rider.
You got it. And then are you ready to end the whole night? We got another made-for-TV movie.
Okay, give it to me.
I actually think you know when I give you the actors and then I give you the description, you are 100% gonna seek this out. I know for a fact. I would bet my whole life on it. I'm gonna go with the least popular name and move up to the most popular name. Okay.
Okay.
Adam Baldwin. Not a Baldwin brother. Just another Baldwin.
Okay.
You know him? I think he's in Chuck and like Firefly and other things.
Okay.
You know this name. You know her well. Nancy McKeon.
Okay.
But she's not the big star of this.
Okay.
I mean, she might be, but she's not the biggest name.
Okay.
By today's standards. All right. Any guesses? It's 1985. Think TV and then eventually movies. And his name's still out there today. He's still around. I feel like I see him on TikTok all the time. He just reunited recently with somebody.
Oh, Michael J. Fox.
Yes, you got it. And the movie is Poison Ivy. Any guesses, like, what this will be about? Like, what do you think this will be about? Is this going to be a comedy? Is this going to be, like, a murder mystery?
This is, like, probably, like, a high school romance gone bad.
Maybe. Possibly. It's a youth comedy. This is like a funny movie. It's about the hijinks and romances of kids and counselors at a summer camp.
Okay.
Which kind of ties in with, I don't know, like a theme, because we did Can't Cucamonga and Salute Your Shorts recently, so I feel like we got to seek this out. I feel like when we do, like, Michael J. Fox February, we'll seek it out. Foxy February.
I was like, there was a hot second I was afraid you were going to say it was, like, USA High School, and I tried to watch that, and I couldn't make it past 10 minutes.
I don't even think... I know I'm aware of it, but I don't know if I've ever actually seen it, to be honest with you.
Like...
Is Nancy McKeon in it?
Yeah. She's in it. Michael J. Fox is in it. Todd Bridges.
Ooh.
It's like a slew of names, and it's just like all over the place. It had to have been the pilot for like a TV series, and then it's like, wait, we can't use half of these people. They're on other shows.
Oh, they just kind of like mishmashed a plot out of it.
Yeah, it was all over the place. Like I said, I only made 10 minutes because I was like, I don't understand what's happening.
I'm going to ask the age-old question. On a scale of 1 out of 5 doomed cruises, how many doomed cruises would you rate tonight's episode of television? Because like I'm kind of torn. You know what? I'm kind of torn over it. I kind of want to like say it's bad, but there's some like movies I'm interested in watching. Like I would watch all 3 of these.
So let's be real. There's not a lot of variety this evening.
Nah.
You know, like, do you want the fun summer camp movie starring Michael J. Fox? Or do you want, like, the depressing movie where the kids kill themselves starring Molly Ringwald? Or do you want the movie about a bunch of kids who got murdered in Atlanta?
And then, like, Grandma's got to stay up late tonight so she can watch Murder, She Wrote. She's up, like, way past her bedtime. Like,
right?
Jessica Fletcher, like, at Seas, like, you know, she knows she wants to watch that, but she can't. You know, she's got to stay up, like, extra late tonight. She's got to take her medications later on.
1985, I feel like, is still kind of early in the whole VCR thing, so it's not like you can record something and be watching something else. And
I wonder what HBO had on tonight. like they were still pretty young, right? Cable is still kind of newerish.
Yes, not everybody really has, like, this is still people, like, having cable made you, like, the rich family on the block.
Oh, yeah, the Joneses. Those fucking Joneses with their cable and their satellite dishes.
Right.
I don't know. I'd probably give this night like a 3. You know what? It's like a little better than half because I feel like there's a good good movies on tonight.
Yeah, I was thinking like a 3.5.
I feel like that's getting it too high. Like you're raising the bar too high.
Honestly, the 0.5 is only for Murder, She Wrote.
Oh, okay. All right. So it gets the automatic 0.5. All right, we'll have to write that down. We'll remember that.
Yeah.
Murder, She Wrote is always a 0.5. Yeah. All right. Punky Brewster. Do we need to do a cast breakdown? Because I don't feel like we've never done the show before.
We have never done this show before. I'm gonna be honest. Here's the thing about Punky Brewster. I know that as a kid I watched this show. The only freaking thing I remember about this show is one, Sherry in the freezer, and Punky wearing a freaking bandana around her leg. Because I used to try and do that to be like Punky.
And like the mishmashed socks.
Mm-hmm.
I just remember her room was like painted with like multicolors, and it was just totally like an 80s Trapper Keeper exploded and just stuck to the wall. I remember the dog Brandon, and I remember her treehouse, but for some reason I remember her like animated series that came out like after the show ended more than this show, to be honest with you. And it had like Gloomer on it, who was like a weird little like monster-y type creature. He who like talked.
Yes, that I remember.
He was like a gizmo or like a Mac and Me.
Yes.
So the basic premise of the show is Punky is like 5 years old. I don't know how old she's supposed to. She's young. She's young as fuck.
She's like 9 years old. They were in the 3rd grade.
Yeah, I guess you're right. Oh yeah, you're right, because they do reference them being in 3rd grade.
Yes, and I have a lot of feelings about all of this.
So the basic premise of the show is like Punky mom like abandons her at a fucking store like while she's shopping for clothes, I guess you said.
Yeah.
And she's like, her and her dog just like roam the city of Chicago. They find like an empty apartment. It's owned by Henry, who like is the landlord, I think.
Yeah, like he owns the building because that's the only way this all makes sense.
I don't know, like one of Sherry's grandmother is complaining about like noises coming from the empty apartment. So Henry goes and investigates and finds Punky and her dog. Mm-hmm. He ends up like taking her in for the weekend, but then sends her out to Fenster Hall, which is like an orphanage for like wayward kids. But she ends up like running away, and she runs back to Henry's house or something. And then this like very long-winded court trial happens. It takes place in like a whole episode. And then she ends up living there. She has friends. Her friends are Margot, who's like this like rich girl, kind of snobby. The it girl of the school. Sherry, who lives in the same building with her. It's like her BFF. And then Alan, who's just this like rando boy they hang out with.
And then in this one, we also have Conrad, played by Chad Allen.
Yes, not Chad Lowe, not Chad Michaels, Chad Allen.
Chad Allen. I like literally am looking at his picture right now because I was like, it's that Chad kid. It's the one who I always Chad Lowe, but it's not Chad Lowe because it's Chad Allen. And he was just in Camp Cucamonga.
That is true. And then we also have Cherry's grandmother, who I don't remember her name, but she's
Susie Garrett, who played Mrs. Johnson.
Okay. Didn't she die in real life, like when they were still doing the show?
Yeah, like let's be real at this point. I mean, Soleil Moon Frye is closer to 50 than she is 40.
Yes.
And so is Sherry Johnson, who played Sherry.
Before we get into the episode, I just want to bring up the theme song real quick. And I just learned this like an hour ago. So I used to always mix the theme song up with the Cheers theme song. They always sounded the same to me. They're just interchangeable for some reason. They're actually written and sung by the same guy. I just found this out today. Gary Portnoy.
I did not know that. I did not think of Cheers when I heard this theme song. I was just like, what is this theme song? This does not feel like it fits the show. Like, what is happening here? It's
kind of like a weird, like, romantic-based theme song. Like, you would think that it was about a couple and not, like, a new, like, father-daughter situation.
Like this 50-year-old guy who's adopting a 9-year-old.
Yes, and it blows my mind that Henry's 50 years old in this, because he looks like he's like 86.
I mean, I'm being generous with the 50. Can we be real?
I feel like they establish his age in an episode, and I think it's like mid-50s.
Yeah, I just know he's no spring chicken.
And like he like in real life, the actor just like recently passed away too. So it's not like he was.
And he was 98 when he passed away in 2016.
All right, so 80. So he was probably in his. Maybe he was 60. Probably sounds about right. Okay, so maybe he was playing like his age. I don't know.
He was 68 years old. This man was close to 70. The whole thing is it's just awkward. That's my other word. Like, it's awkward.
I feel like I have to watch like a few more episodes just to see if it gets better. It probably doesn't, but
Okay, so like, well, this is what we have to remember. It wasn't like an actual NBC primetime series.
Yeah, it was on at 7:30.
It was a syndicated show.
And I mostly know it from like reruns like 5 years after the fact. When I really started watching the show, it was probably like 1990, and the show was like far from done. Soleil Moonfire was probably off doing like other things like, I don't know, like Teen Win, Lose, or Draw on the Disney Channel, whatever the fuck she was doing around that time.
She was recording her phone calls with like Jonathan Brandis and stuff by then.
Oh yeah. She was making her she was just videotaping her life, her at Knott's Berry Farm with with Brian Austin Green and Jonathan Brandis and Charlie Sheen.
Yeah, like
what?
Yeah. Wild days.
Wild times. The basic gist of this episode is it's the day before. It starts off. It's the day before Valentine's Day, and they're at school, and they're just kind of like coupled up. So Margot has like a nerdy boyfriend, like your typical like Poindexter Revenge of the Nerds type nerd. I guess that's what she was into.
Well, because she's like, he's the one who's gonna make the money, honey.
Oh, she's looking forward. Like she thinks he's gonna like work for NASA.
Yeah.
She's being like all like lovey-dovey and being like, "Oh, will you carry my books for me?" And he's like, "Sure thing, Margot." And then Sherry, Punky, and Alan, they're like at their lockers. I guess they're all together, like close to each other. Sherry's trying to like play the same thing with Alan. Like she's like, "Oh, you gonna carry my books?" And he's like, "Nah, probably not."
Here, you can carry mine.
Yeah, how about you carry mine? They're friends with Margot, but they also like they kind of hate her, don't they? Like secretly, they like don't like her. Like she's just kind of there.
She's like clung on to them to be their friend, so they just kind of put up with her.
Like I think of her as like Margaret from Dennis the Menace. Like they just like
that is exactly where my mind went with her.
Like she just shows up. She expects to be like the center of attention, and like they're all gonna like stop and like adore her. They're just kind of like, whatever, Margot, and they just kind of like go off and do their own thing. And then like I feel like they'll like be like Punky cells later on, like watch like playing Nintendo, playing Mario Brothers, and like Margot shows up and like I don't know with like something that she's into, and they're just not interested in it. Like they just like whatever, Margot. We're gonna go to the pizza place down the street. We're gonna go to the pizza place down the street that Webster hangs out at because I think he's from Chicago too.
Oh my god.
Ugh.
Yeah, so that's crazy that we both went to the same location.
Margot. I mean, their names are similar.
She does show up in the revival.
She's in like one episode. She's like a PR girl or something, right? Doesn't she work for like WWF or WWE, whatever it's called now?
Something ridiculous like that. I like had to double check. I was like, she shows up in the revival, right? Like,
yeah, because I think the wayward girl that Punky takes in, like the new Punky, like the girl who's supposed to be like Punky when she was younger. She's like into WWE. Yeah. And like Margot like is like affiliated with WWE because they have like one of the female wrestlers come on like an episode. Like I feel like I should know the name, but I don't. Which is kind of a weird career turn for Margot if you think about it.
Yeah, you know. But she went where there was money. So is it really that weird?
Like, do you think she like married The Rock or something, or John Cena?
No.
Margot Cena?
No, she probably like married an executive or something there.
Like Vince McMahon? You think she's Vince McMahon's wife?
No, not like one that they get the storylines. Nobody like on camera, but somebody who still makes all the big bucks.
Oh, like kind of like maybe like the guy who like books the shows, probably. Yeah. Like the event manager. I don't know. I feel like she'd go bigger though. Like I don't know. At least get someone on like AGT or something.
I don't know.
Or like the ABC version of American Idol. I think NBC Universal owns like WWE though, don't they?
Yeah, it's all interconnected, like, because they do, like, WrestleMania stuff on Peacock.
Oh yeah, like you don't get it on pay-per-view anymore. You got to like buy it through Peacock if you want to watch like SummerSlam.
Yeah, something like that. I don't even know. Like, my nephew's a little bit into it, but not, like, a ton, but, like, he went to some kind of WrestleMania event last year.
This is probably like the first or second Peacock original, right? At least the first one they were probably like working on. I remember like them talking about doing this for years.
Yeah, it was one that was, like, talked about, like, early on. I remember hearing about it, and I remember, like, oh, that's kind of, like, cool, but, like, how does Punky work as an adult, like, you know?
There is definitely like an episode of the podcast where we like fan fictioned like murder mystery, didn't we? Like involving like Punky's mother or something.
I think so.
I'm pretty sure we did. I'm pretty sure like we like had this like whole thing like plotted where it was like
I don't even remember.
her mother was actually murdered, and then like Punky, it's years later and Punky's like into true crime, and she's like, wait a second, like maybe my mother didn't abandon me, maybe she was like murdered, and she like solves like the murder mystery of her mom like accidentally. Like that would have been a great idea.
Oh yeah, and she has a podcast.
Like I wanted like a good like detective series, like Punky detective series. We don't get it. Instead we get like her mom was just like she got like scared and like ran off. She wasn't even into like drugs or anything. She just like took off. Oh, like she was an alcoholic though, I think, right? Is that maybe?
Something like that, kind of vaguely.
It wasn't very well executed.
I think I was a little wary of it even happening after Disney destroyed my hopes and dreams of a Lizzie McGuire reboot.
From what I remember of the Punky reboot, like she finds her mom's phone number in like at the end of the first episode.
Mm-hmm.
And they just leave this like hang-in thread for like 8 more episodes, and then it comes back into play like in the last episode. And you're like, shit, this should have been the whole fucking series.
Yeah, like the mom actually like calls her and yeah.
Instead, they wait till the very end, and I knew like as when we got to the end of the end of the season, I was like, there's no way this show's coming back. Like you and I are the only 2 people who watch this. Like nobody else watch, even the people that like said they were into it. Like I tried to like get people to watch it, and they're like, yeah, I'll check it out someday. I'm like, you're either gonna watch it today or you're never gonna watch it because you're not gonna remember to watch this. Like,
yeah, and I totally watched it in a day.
Oh, I did too. Because it was actually kind of good. Like Punky's like it's kind of edgy. Like Punky fucks people and stuff. Like it was kind of like edgy for Punky Brewster. Like and like that's where you need to go because like little kids aren't gonna watch this. Like they try to make these like like a 7-year-old girl like is not gonna be like, I wonder what this Punky show's about. Like this is a show my mom used to watch. They're not gonna be interested in the old one like at all. It's gonna be so fucking dated.
That's where like with Disney Plus and the Lizzie McGuire thing, Hillary and Disney disagreed because Hillary's like, well, Lizzie's an adult.
Yeah.
It's not going to be the 11-year-old girls watching it. It's going to be the 30-something women watching it.
Like, Lizzie McGuire's going to have to come home from work and, like, unwind with, like, a bottle of wine. Like, Disney's like, no, we can't do that. This is going to be a show for kids.
I was excited about Lizzie McGuire growing up because I was like, yes!
Hillary Duff, buy the rights. Buy the rights and make it happen.
You know what, though? Hillary Duff has How I Met Your Dad, so it's all good.
Yeah.
How I Met Your Father, whatever.
All right, so we're at the school. As I said, there was, like, the coupling of Margot and the nerd, Sherry and Alan. Like, Sherry notices Conrad, played by Chad Allen, is, like, eyeballing Punky from afar. I guess he's kind of like the cool kid, right? He's kind of like the Joe Cool of the school.
He's, like, the cool guy in their class. And he's got it bad for Punky.
Yeah, he's, like, pulling all the punches. He's like, oh, man, can I walk you to, like, geography class? And she's like, no, I'm good. Can I hold your books? She's like, no, I'm fine. It's okay. I got my backpack.
She's like, I'm cool. I don't need help. I got this. Punky is a strong, independent woman.
Yeah, Sherry's, like, bumping her elbow and like, dude, he's into you. Like, go for this. Like, you need a boyfriend. Otherwise, you're going to grow up to be, like, this fucking spinster. You're going to be, like, 80 years old and alone. She's like, dude, we're in 3rd grade. Like, who cares? Who gives a fuck?
Right? Like, we're in 3rd grade. I don't need a boyfriend. Like,
and then their teacher comes out. She's this, like, old lady. And she's like, does anyone know what tomorrow is? And they're like, no. And she's like, it's Valentine's Day. And she's like, and I want everyone to make a special Valentine for their Valentine.
No. She didn't say that. She said, I want you to make sure you have a Valentine for everybody in the class. And then the teacher leaves. And Margot's like, but that doesn't mean you can't make a special Valentine for your Valentine.
I feel like Conrad's up in the ante right here. He's like really trying to like woo Punky, and he like leans in for a kiss. He like kisses her cheek.
Yeah.
We don't see it. Like it happens off screen, but she fucking socks him in the eye.
Which, good for her.
Yeah, right?
Like, I'm watching this whole thing, like, go Punky. Punch that little shit in the eye for kissing you. He had no consent to kiss you. Like, so also, like, can we talk about this, like, whole little moment? In a 1985, like, sitcom for kids, Punky's basically saying he doesn't have my consent.
I think she flat out says that, too, like, in the episode. Not, like, word for word, but she insinuates it. She's like, I didn't ask it.
Like, watching that in 2022, I was kind of like, wow, my mind is blown. This is coming from a 9-year-old kid in 1985.
That would have been a great angle for the episode, I think. Like, if they stuck with that angle. Instead, I feel like it devolved. The episode then devolves into, like, everyone upset with Punky because she lost her one chance of happiness.
Oh, my God. Yes, it's like, how... And Henry's kind of like, didn't have permit. Like, Henry's like on this weird, well, like, Punky, you shouldn't have punched him, but he also didn't have your permission. And, oh, well, can your teacher stop hitting on me, please?
Yeah, so Henry has to come to the school. Punky got in trouble for fucking socking this kid in the eye.
Who totally deserved it.
And Henry is, like, talking to Punky, basically, like, telling her that she's, you know, she's gonna be grounded for the weekend or whatever. And, like, while all this is going on, Punky's teacher... She is like, oh, Henry, I like your bow tie. You remind me of my late husband. He used to always wear a bow tie, and I used to pull it and tighten it because I love doing that. And
it's so awkward.
She's kind of like prying into Henry's life, and she's like, you know, so I hear you have a late wife. You know, I have a late husband. Why don't we like get together and go to I don't know, get some deep dish pizza from like Pizzeria Uno's tonight. And he's like, you know, I got Punky. She's in trouble. I got to make sure, you know, she doesn't sneak out because...
I got to take her home now.
But, like, before she leaves the school, she gets an earful from her friends again, from, like, Margot and Sherry, and they're like, you're going to be alone. You're going to be a spinster. They say it, like, 100 times to her.
No, it's not. They don't leave the school. They're at Henry's kitchen table, making their Valentines.
Oh, yeah, that's right. They're making the Valentines. Because, like, Margot shows her special one. Sherry shows her special one. Margot
makes a special one for Willie, and Sherry makes one for Alan, and Punky is not making one for Conrad. Conrad does not deserve a special Valentine. She's making one for Henry. Because let's be real. Henry is the most important relationship in her life, and will be until later in life.
Pretty much, yeah. So they kind of like give Punky shit, and they're like, you can't marry your dad. And she's like, oh, I mean, I'm not going to marry him. I'm just going to live here forever, you know, like...
I mean, and she does.
Yeah, the Revival series, she lives in the same apartment. It's obviously not the same set, but they insinuate it's the same apartment.
No, it has definitely been, upgraded in many ways.
So she goes to sleep, and she, like, immediately goes into this, like, dream where it's 80 years in the future. Like, not like 20 years in the future, like 40 years in the future. No, they jump to 80 years in the future. And...
it's so ridiculous.
Henry is, like, even older. They did, like, makeup effects to make him look older. But, like, he really just looks the same.
Like, they just made his hair more wild.
Yeah, like, they just made it, like it grew.
And they made him move, and he shuffled around a little more.
Yeah, he kind of had, like Benjamin Franklin hair.
Yes.
Brandon the dog is, like, older. They gave him, like, a beard. Like a gray beard.
And they made him bald on the top of his head.
They did that. Yeah, they put like a bald wig on him. Yeah, he had like the same kind of like Benjamin Franklin mullet too, but he had like a beard, like a gray beard too.
Obviously, it was a 2-pack they got at the Halloween store.
Yeah, it was like, you know, they probably filmed this episode around Halloween, so the Spirit Halloween store was like selling this shit cheap. It was like November 1st. They did like makeup effects to Punky, and they just gave her like a walker. Fucking Sherry gets, like, the shit end of the stick. They put her in a fat suit. Oh, my God.
Oh, my God. For real. They put this poor girl in a fat suit.
They heavily imply, like, no pun intended. Like, they just keep saying, like, they don't just, like, say that she's, like, got bigger or something. They just drop the word fat, like, 100 times in this episode.
I cringed a little bit when she pulled out the fried chicken. I was just like, oh dear God.
Yeah, she came in with a walker, like a cane or something, and she had like a purse, and she pulled like a fried chicken wing out of the purse and was like eating it like in the apartment, which pretty much looks the same except there's like more like Afghan like blankets and sweaters and stuff around the place.
Like someone's just been spending their years crocheting and knitting.
The theme of like why they're all getting back together is because it's Punky's high school reunion.
It's not even like a high school reunion. Okay. It's like she's meeting up with her high school friends for the first time since prom.
Yes. Not even graduation.
Which is another thing. I'm like, hold up. Prom's like a month before graduation. Maybe 2 weeks. Like, it depends. But it's in like a month to 2 weeks before graduation, right?
Yeah, mine was always like, it's like a week or two before graduation. It's like, I think it's like the classes end, like the actual school part of school is over, and then you go to prom, and then it's like 3 days later you have graduation. At least for me.
No, like not for me. We had like...
I could be way off though. This was like 20 years ago.
True. I remember having prom, and then we still had like 2 weeks left before graduation.
I definitely feel like the school portion of school was done with though. It was just like It was like we had like finals and then we had like prom and then like graduation. But I could be wrong. Like I could be.
You could be. I mean, you went. Who knows what you do in back-ass words, Massachusetts?
I mean, we could have had the prom after graduation for all I know.
I mean, you didn't even have Halloween, Patrick.
Ugh.
I'm supposed to believe you had prom.
They had to cancel prom.
Are you sure you're not from the Footloose town?
They canceled prom because of like the prom horror movie, and they were worried that like it'd be like a slasher film.
But yeah, so they haven't seen each other's prom. Like I'm like, I don't buy that. You're telling me Sherry got married and didn't have Punky as her maid of honor?
I mean, and then again, this is a dream of a third grader who probably has like no concept.
I mean,
she has like no concept of
true.
Life after high school, so she probably just thinks like you graduate, you never see your friends anymore, and then you see them when you're 80 years old.
There was no Facebook back then.
So for whatever reason, like all her former friends come over. They're all like old, and they make old jokes. They make like old people jokes, and like Punky sits down on the couch, and then like the doorbell rings, and she has to like get up to answer it, and she has like a hard time getting up. Like her back hurts, and she's like hunched over, and it's not even funny. Like it's
not. It's just awkward to watch. Like it's not cute. It's not funny. It's just awkward. Awkward.
There's jokes about them not being able to like hear or see good. Like there's I even think like for like Punky kicks her friends out at some point. She like makes them leave. Like they haven't seen each other for 80 years.
No, she doesn't make them leave. They're like, okay, we gotta go. I gotta go see my grandma. Bye. And she's like, wait, you guys are leaving already?
Yeah, we haven't seen each other in 80 years, and they're gonna leave right away.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like now it's just like Henry, Brandon, and Punky.
No, Brandon runs off with the dog.
Well, it kind of happens like right here though, because like it's just the three of them that live there, and like Punky's like, well, at least like it's just us, like the core group, and like Brandon like takes off because there's like an old lady dog that lives across the hall.
Yeah.
The teacher, like Punky's teacher, is still alive and old, and she like not like she calls and like talks to Henry, and like Henry goes out on a date with her. Punky just starts screaming in bed, and she like wakes up, and like Henry comes in, and she's like looking around. She's like, "Oh my god, I'm not 80 years old anymore." And he's like, "What do you mean?" And he's like, "Oh, like my friends have been teasing me that I'm gonna be like an old spinster, be all alone, and just like die alone." And like Henry has to be like, "You know what?
Yeah.
You're 9 years old, girl.
Like 9 years old. You don't need to worry about being paired up with anybody.
You know what? As long as we got each other." To quote the theme song.
As long as we've got each other.
Oh wait, no, that's Growing Pains.
I know it is.
Mixing up my shows. They all sound the same to me. Punky gets like a life lesson from Henry about like she doesn't have to worry about this stuff for like 10 more years or something. Like right now, it's just you and I and the dog and sometimes your friends. Like, so what if your friend wants to have a boyfriend? Alan will just disappoint her at some point, and he does because Sherry ends up becoming a lesbian like late in life.
Yeah, I was gonna say Sherry does not end up with Alan.
I don't even think Alan's in the new series, right? Like she's not even in it, or he's not even in it, right?
No, he's not. Like none of the guys Punky knew as a kid are in it.
Yeah, like, do they even reference Alan? Like, I feel like they don't. Like, his like name doesn't even come up. Like, I forgot about him.
Like, if they did, it was like passing via Sherry or something.
Like, I literally forgot he was a character on the show until 2 days ago when I watched this episode. I was like, oh yeah, the blonde-haired kid.
Okay, so, like I said, I don't really remember watching the show. I know I watched it as a kid, but I, don't really, remember anything about it. Except for that one very special episode.
Is he in every episode? Or is he just in, some of them?
I think he is a recurring character, though.
He's not like Sherry, who's in, every episode, though, right?
Yeah, I don't think so. Because Sherry is, the best friend, and I'm gonna say, this is gonna sound really bad, but I think Sherry was one of the weaker aspects of the reboot.
Yeah, she really wasn't in it a lot, too. I
feel like they put her in because they felt like they had to have that character there.
I just feel like the actress was available. So they, brought her in.
I mean...
Because I've never seen her in anything else.
Dude, she was on, Family Matters.
She was?
I'm pretty sure she was, one... I'm looking it up right now. Yeah, she was where she played Laura's best friend, Maxine.
That was her?
That was her.
What about after that? What about after that show?
Some random movies here and there. Some Hallmark stuff. BET stuff.
Recently? Or, wait. Besides Punky Brewster, what's her most recent acting credit?
Something called Saturday School. I don't know what that is.
What year was that?
2022.
All right, so she's still hustling.
No, 2020. Sorry.
She's still out there.
She's still out there doing stuff. It's just she's doing stuff for Lifetime and BET and Hallmark, and she's not the name in the Hallmark movie.
She's not Thelma Hopkins.
She's not the name in anything she's in.
Is she forever the best friend in things?
I think so.
When I was watching the reboot, whatever, 2 years ago, I can't remember when it was on. Feels like it's been 10 years, but it's only been a year or two. I was just getting just getting that vibe of just kind of a Jenna Von Oy vibe, where it was you know what, she was big as the best friend on one show, and then they just try to cart her out in something every couple of years, but you forget it. Even what's his name, Jaleel White, who plays Urkel, they cart him out into he was on that show with fucking John Larroquette a few years ago.
Oh yeah.
And you won't, and Bobby Moynihan, and you won't see him again for 5 years, but then he'll come out in something and they'll make a big deal out of it.
Yeah.
Jaleel White's return to television. He's had 11 of those in the last 20 years.
Yeah. He did Dancing with the Stars.
I could see Sherry doing Dancing with the Stars, and then make a big deal out of it. The first time we've seen her in years.
Okay, can I be real? If Dancing with the Stars is looking for anybody from the show, they're trying to get Soleil.
Oh yeah, and she would do it. She would 100% do it. Because what else does she got going on?
Yeah, honestly, how has she not done it?
Are you sure she hasn't done it?
I'm pretty sure. I feel like I would know. I feel like she hasn't done.
I mean, I follow her on Instagram, and I feel like she does a lot of behind the scenes things. I feel like she does casting or something. That's her world now. She produces and
she's a director, producer, screenwriter, and actress.
Yeah, but I don't acting's the end of it. The end of that list of titles that you gave. She doesn't really act in things anymore.
Her shows are Punky Brewster and Sabrina the Teenage Witch.
And that was Sabrina the Teenage Witch was a long time ago, and she wasn't even on it for that long, I don't think. She was on it for the college years, maybe.
She was on for the last 2 or 3 seasons.
Yeah, she was Sabrina's college roommate, right?
And that includes the season that nobody watched because it moved to the WB or something.
Did you even follow the show there? I feel like she didn't.
She did. She was. It was because it was her and the whatever chick from Clueless.
Oh, Elise Donovan or something. Oh, yeah, Elise something. The girl who plays Amber, what do they call her? Oh, my goodness.
She does some voiceover work.
Yeah, I could see that. I'm going to throw this out there. Her acting on the new Punky Brewster was not that great. You could tell she hasn't acted in a while.
It was not.
It was just very sketchy at best.
The majority of her acting credits are from the 80s. She actually, that's not true. She's been in a crap ton of stuff. It was a guest appearance here and there. Like, she did an episode of Friends. She did some TV movies.
I remember her being on like TV movies in like early to mid 90s, like 1994. I remember her being like TV movies with like Brian Austin Green and stuff, like the people that she went to Knott's Berry Farm with.
One TV movie from 1994 is called Summertime Switch. I just recently watched this on YouTube. It's got Ryder Strong, and it's about like this rich kid and played by Ryder Strong and this poor like African American kid who are both like sent to different camps for the summer, but at where all the buses are meeting for them, there's a mix-up, and they have like similar names.
Oh, it's kind of like Home Alone where they go to the wrong place.
Ryder Strong ends up at like the juvenile delinquents camp, and like the other kid whose name I cannot remember because he's not famous anymore. I didn't even recognize his name when I watched the movie. He ends up at like the rich kid camp, and Soleil Moon Frye is like the head counselor or whatever, and she's like, "Hi!" She's just like all perky, and it's really awkward.
Yeah, like I feel like that was like the type of roles that she got. Like I feel like they tried to give her like playful, friendly things. Like she never really got like a good like meaty adult role.
Yeah, and well, to be fair, that was also when she was very perky. Because she, like, remember, she developed and she got huge up top and felt very awkward.
She developed, like, very young, so it was, like, awkward for her. I remember that from her documentary, in which she goes to Knott's Berry Farm. I don't know why. I'll just always remember that for some reason.
You're so obsessed with Knott's Berry Farm, and it's like...
I've never even been there.
Probably nowhere near as, like, amazing as you think it is in your head.
I just like the idea of, like... all these, like, wayward teen actors just, like, smoking cigarettes, like, smoking Marbs, and, like, I don't know, maybe, like, scoring, like, a bag of weed, and then going to, like, Knott's Berry Farms and drinking, like, wine coolers. That's just the vibe I want. Soleil Moon Frye and friends at Knott's Berry Farm. All right, I'm going to ask the age-old question, because I'm so curious. On a scale of 1 out of 5... Valentines. How many Valentines are you going to give this episode? I think I know the answer. I told you to write it down and seal it in an envelope.
Oh, yeah?
So you can reveal it.
So I didn't write it down. I didn't seal it.
It was metaphorically.
But what do you think it is?
You're going to give this a 2.
Yeah, I'm not giving it something that high. It's a 1.
Whoa. Is this the first one?
I think it might be. I am only even giving it a 1 because of the whole fact that this boy did not get consent to kiss her, and Punky was not cool with it, and she stood up for herself. Like, that is the only reason it's getting a 1.
So, if that didn't happen...
that is the only redeeming quality of this episode. Like,
I'm trying to... the only other thing I can think of that you might have given a 1 to, or maybe even a 0, a goose egg, was the Jerry O'Connell like superhero show he did like a couple years ago.
My Secret Identity.
Like I felt like he like poorly graded that. Which one, if you had to watch one of them again, which one would you watch again? My Secret Identity or Punky Brewster?
I would go with My Secret Identity.
I feel like they used to be on at the same time. Like I feel like My Secret Identity...
They probably were. Like, who knows?
Like, I feel like on, like, WSBK in Boston, it was, like, at 4 o'clock it was Punky, then, like, 4:30 it was My Secret Identity. Like, they were, like, paired together.
Yeah.
Except one was Canadian. I think. My Secret Identity was a Canadian import, right?
Yeah, it was.
Sort of remember that.
Even though Jerry O'Connell is not Canadian.
They shipped them up to Vancouver for, like, 2 years so he could film that show.
Yeah.
He could fly around the city.
Wild to me is that he's like one of the co-hosts of The Talk now.
No, since when? I know he's on like the new Love Boat or Real Love Boat or whatever it's called, which like got canceled, but it's on like Paramount Plus now.
Since Julie Chen left. After Julie Chen, suddenly they like got some male co-hosts.
Well, that show imploded fast, huh?
Like, hold on, I'm gonna look it up.
Yeah, I want to know who the current roster is. Is that one girl's like Sherry, whatever her name is, she's still on it?
I mean, yeah, Cheryl Underwood. Hold on. Pulling up the CBS website. Okay, your current hosts of The Talk are Cheryl Underwood, Natalie Morales, Jerry O'Connell, Amanda Klutz, and I'm going to butcher this poor man's name, and I am sorry, Akbar Gabajamila. I've never seen, he is a former NFL player. He also hosted American Ninja Warrior and American Ninja Warrior Jr.
I have no idea.
Honestly, this looks like a more interesting group than like who it used to be.
Well, it was like Leah Remini, Sharon Osbourne, Cheryl Underwood was like always on it. She's like the Barbara Walters of the show.
Yeah, no, she's your like. Actually, no, I think she joined second season.
Really? So she's not even an OG cast member?
Hold on. Now I got to do some digging. Hold on.
Like what did Cheryl Underwood do before this show?
Not much. Okay, because let's not forget that let's think about who created the talk. It wasn't Julie Chen.
Was it Sharon Osbourne?
No, it was Sarah Gilbert.
Oh.
Darlene.
You know what? I always loved Sarah Gilbert until she did the talk, and I was like, no.
And then it was like, yeah, you suck. Okay, so this is the list of hosts, like all the hosts it's ever had, okay?
All right, you want to rank them? Want to like put them in order?
No, because that's just too bad. But you're gonna see like
a trend, a downward trend.
So like the first group of, I can tell you who the first group of hosts were, okay? Julie Chen Moonves, I roll at the last name. Sarah Gilbert, Sharon Osbourne, Marissa Jarrett Winokur.
Oh yes.
Leah Remini, and Holly Robinson Pete.
I remember Holly Robinson Pete being on it, and I remember Marissa Winokur on it too.
And then Marissa was the first one they cut.
Yeah, she sucked.
Like they had her do like special little segments, and they were like, "Yeah, you're gone." But then she got to go on Celebrity Big Brother and win it, and Ross should have won. Like
was she a talking head on it, or was she just like they would send her out on like road trips and she would like meet people?
I think they sent her out on like road trips and shit.
Like she would do like remote stuff, right? She was kind of like the Ross, like that the Ross guy that used to be on like Jay Leno.
Yes, Ross the intern who should have won Big Brother, Celebrity Big Brother 1.
Oh, 100%. Instead. Kind of weird how it came full circle there.
Okay, so Leah and Holly leave. They get cut. And they get replaced by Aisha Tyler and Cheryl Underwood. Leah and Holly are still, like, good friends.
Okay.
The cast more people leave. Julie leaves, Sarah leaves, Sharon leaves, yada yada. Eve comes in as a host.
Oh, yes. Okay.
Carrie Ann Inaba from Dancing with the Stars. Marie Osmond.
I do not remember that.
I think somewhere once Julie left and Eve came in. I think there was somewhere I just wasn't around to watch the talk.
Did they do temporary replacements? Like maybe they brought Eve in for a little bit to see how it would work, and then
I don't know. It's had 13 seasons though. This show has had 13 seasons.
That's 13 too many.
Then that's when you get Amanda Klutz, Elaine Weltheron. I don't even know who that is. That's the lady from Teen Vogue who hired Lauren.
Oh yeah, from the first episode of The Hills.
Yeah.
Oh, she sucked on that. She sucked on The Hills. I couldn't imagine her on the talk.
And then we have Jerry O'Connell, Akbar. I'm not going to butcher that poor man's name again, and Natalie Morales.
All right. If I'm going to rank them, I'm going to say Leah Remini is the best one, and all the others are underneath her.
I kind of love Cheryl Underwood.
You know what? I would put Cheryl Underwood before Julie Chen. I'm just going to throw this out there.
Let's be real. Julie was there just so, Les could go have more affairs during the day.
Yeah, so, she'd be busy. She wouldn't be at home, going through his receipts, looking through his phone.
Exactly.
That's why she gave him. That's why he gave her a job during the day and a job at night. Mm-hmm. Good, smart man, I guess.
Yeah. So. That is wild.
Yeah. So join us next week when we talk about The Talk. We're doing an episode of The Talk. We're gonna do the episode where Cher comes on as a guest. That's the only one I've ever seen, I think.
I would watch if somebody from Big Brother or the soaps were on. That's it. And it is, at the very least, it is probably one of the few talk shows that, because CBS is very much about synergy throughout the network and stuff, that does promote its soap operas. And does have its actors come on. That
is true. The View. Well, The View ain't having Maurice Bernard coming on The View.
No, they're not, unless yeah, because The View actually they treat the soap actors like shit. They stole their studios. They pushed them out. So the ladies of The View can kindly fuck off. Every single lady that has ever been on The View and treated the soap actors like shit.
Are we gonna drop names?
Including Whoopi. They were just always See, always just kind of like act like they're better. They're like, oh yeah, we're on daytime. Like the original Ladies of the View were down to like do a soap opera scene here or there and cross promo. But like once Rosie came on, which is kind of weird because Rosie, you know, is like, I love all my children. She took herself so seriously and that show so seriously. And people started taking that show like as this like major piece of like news when it's really a freaking talk show in the afternoon where we used to get recipes.
It's just like white noise. It's just something you leave on in the background while you're fucking, I don't know, reading the newspaper or some bullshit. All right, you want to take a guess at my score for the episode? It's higher than a 1. I will say that.
I can't imagine you giving this more than a 2.
I went right in the middle. I went 2.5. I did 2.5 Valentines for this. No, nostalgia. It gets points for nostalgia. That's really about it, to be honest with you. And I did watch like 2 more episodes that came on after it, and they were slightly better. Slightly better.
Yeah, I did not watch more.
You're like, I'm done with this world.
I was like, I'm done. I don't know what the hell I just watched. I think I have to go get ready for work. I don't know anymore. Do I work? The election's over. What do I do now?
It is very much a product of its time, because like this is a very 1985 episode of a television series that we watched. Like it's straight out of 1985. Like I don't even know. Have we ever done anything from 1985? Because
we have had to at some point something.
I feel like we've never like Knight Rider or Silver Spoons has never come up on our this night of television. So like it was fun to see something different.
Yeah.
All right. I'm excited for next week. We're going back to a world we've done before. We've done this character numerous times. Not just we've done 3 different series featuring this character.
I know what it is.
All right, I'll let you drop the name. We're doing a Thanksgiving themed episode too, and it features a character from another series that comes back.
Yes, because she is one of the greatest TV characters of all time.
Yes, it's Bebe North November this month here at the podcast. We're doing an episode of Frasier. I believe it's called A Lilith Thanksgiving.
Yes. Oh my god, that's a good one. It's a good one.
I'm going to throw this out there. I've never seen this episode.
You haven't?
No. I read the description earlier and I was like, I don't think I've seen this one.
Oh my god, it's great. It is just pure Frasier and Lilith madness.
Do we get fun, like, Daphne adventures, whatever her name is?
Not really a Daphne adventure. You get some like...
What about Roz?
Niles tomfoolery, though.
We get some fun Roz moments?
No, not really. No Roz.
Aw. I want, we need, the next...
There might be, like, a little side thing with Roz, if...
Well, I feel like the last time we did Frasier, it was like Roz was pregnant, so that was kind of like a Roz episode, so we're gonna give her a break this time.
Oh yeah, that was like the one where they find out she's pregnant.
It was like she was wearing like a Halloween costume, right? It was like she was waiting for a call back from her OBGYN or something, who like leaves her a voicemail.
Well, because she took the EPT and then she wanted the confirmation.
Yeah, and then her like OBGYN calls her on like a Saturday night and leaves a voicemail.
Oh, the 90s.
All right. Where can you follow our wildest adventures, Cat Also the Author? Where can you follow us?
You can follow us on Twitter at Very Podcast. You can find us on all the other socials, Instagram, Facebook, the TikTok, Tumblr at averyspecialpodcast.com. You can find us at averyspecialpodcast.com. You can find us at a very special podcast on all those socials.com. Find us at saltyrockmedia.com. And you have obviously found us somehow, somewhere. So subscribe, rate us, like us, tweet us.
And all that jazz.
Tell me how much you hate when I womansplain to Patrick.
I don't think you did any womansplain in this episode, though, so I think we're okay. You get a pass this week.
I don't know. I don't know what womansplaining is, so who knows? Maybe I did it.
Look it up on Urban Dictionary in your downtime. All right, as always, girl, as always.
Bye!
I felt like I had something to say, but went out of my head.
I don't know what's happening anymore. I said bye, and you, like, froze. Shouldn't somebody be watching the skies for punky power sprinkles or something?